So hello and welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to be looking at sorting out a few issues that still remain on the Mini from the rebuild, and when we've done the respray as well. We're going to be looking at sorting out some areas on the bonnet where some dry clear coat landed on some wet clear coat and created a bit of a sandpaper effect on the bonnet, as well as trying to see if we can do anything with a few light scratches that were already on the car, and looking at restoring some faded trims. But the first thing that we're going to need to do is give the car a right good wash, so I'm going to fire through this as quickly as possible before we get on to the interesting stuff. And now that we're all cleaned up, we're all decontaminated and clay barred up, we're ready to start doing a little bit of sanding. You can see the area that's really kind of dry overspray compared to the other side of the bonnet, which is just kind of orange peely. So the first thing that I'm going to do is hit it with 1000 grit sandpaper on the DA sander. What I'm going to eventually do is hit it 7 times to knock down as much of this clear coat as possible. It appears that the paint that I used is very hard once it's fully cured, which is a good thing for future scratches and stuff like that, but it took a lot of sanding to get the car relatively flat. Once I was happy enough with the 1000 grit sanding, I then started to move through the grades. So I went to 1500 and done 2 passes at that. I then moved up to 2000, done 2 passes at that, and then finished off with 3000, and that again was 2 passes. So all in all, I done about 11 or 12 passes of sanding on this car. You can still see there is a few low spots, but that was about as far as I was comfortable going at this point, before getting the rotary out and starting to polish out those 3000 grit sanding marks. After a few passes with the rotary and a few different grades of compound, you can see that those wet sanding marks have really started to disappear. So it's time to start cracking on with some DA polishing, and I'm using my small 3" for this, just to finish it off and get rid of all that marring that you can see on the paintwork from the rotary. And I do have a little bit more to go on other areas of the bonnet, but look at how well the transformation is on the area that I worked on so far. Massive improvement. Next up, we're going to be looking at some scratch marks that are there, and they look as if they've been filled in with a touch-up pen and not very well. So I'm going to go straight in with a rotary polisher to see if I can get everything off, and just to have a look at what I'm going to be dealing with, if I'm going to have to potentially respray that area, or if I can get some better touch-up paint and just put that on instead. And with the poor touch-up job basically removed, we can see that the scratches are quite deep and they're going to need to be touched in. The final thing that I want to tackle in today's video is going to be the trims. Now the trims on this Mini are very weathered and very faded. I put a story up on my Instagram a little while ago asking what would be a good trim restorer, and to my surprise, Garage Therapy answered me back and said try out the Hades wheel coating, which of course I have. So I thought, do you know what, I'll give it a bash. It means I don't need to spend money on another coating or another trim restorer, so I'm going to try this out and see what it's like. So as always, preparation is key. The car's already been cleaned, and then I'm using the Garage Therapy panel wipe just to ensure that the plastics are completely contaminant free and ready to take the coating. I'm just going to use the same method that Garage Therapy recommend to apply it to wheels. So I'll apply the coating, I'll give it a few minutes to cure up before I level it off, and then give it a final buff off, and we can see what kind of impact it makes to the trims. I've started off by only doing half of this rear trim, and I'm going to crack on and do the rest of the trim pieces and allow it to try and cure up a little bit before we have a look at the difference that it's made to that trim. And now that we're just finishing up with the last little bits here, just getting the final little nooks and crannies done, we can go back and have a look at the difference that the wheel coating has made to the trim. And it has made a noticeable improvement there. Very nice finish to all the trim pieces there compared to what was there before. And then just going back to that final trim piece there on the boot, now that it's completely coated, looking absolutely phenomenal. The car's looking great. I'm really happy with the progress that's been made on it. If you like the video, remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.
Try to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.